Welcome back, Lincoln Currency. Have you ever come across an ordinary looking penny that turns out to be worth a fortune? Imagine holding a 1994 1-cent Lincoln penny in your hand, something most people would pass over without a second thought, and discovering it's worth not just hundreds or thousands, but potentially millions of dollars. It might sound impossible, but today, we're diving deep into the fascinating story behind the 1994 Lincoln penny, exploring what makes certain mint mark errors, variations, and conditions so valuable, and how a particular coin like this could be linked to jaw-dropping valuations, including one recent story tied to a coin reportedly worth $89 million. Let's begin with the basics. The Lincoln cent, featuring the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln, has been in continuous production since 1909. The 1994 Lincoln cent is one of the modern-era pennies, struck when the composition had already shifted from 95% copper to a copper-plated zinc format, which began in 1982. So, by 1994, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of these coins annually, which means the average 1994 penny is worth just face value. But like many stories in numismatics, there are always exceptions, rare and unusual errors, mint mark anomalies, and unique strike conditions that transform these ordinary coins into prized collectibles. In 1994, the U.S. Mint struck Lincoln cents at several different facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia typically bear no mint mark, those from Denver carry a DE mint mark, and proof coins from San Francisco bear an S. Most collectors are familiar with these, but not all coins are created equal. It's the small number of 1994 pennies with rare errors, misstrikes, or unique conditions that are drawing the attention of collectors and investors around the world. One of the most intriguing elements about the 1994 penny is the emergence of a small number of coins featuring doubled dies. Doubled die errors happen when the coin die itself is misaligned or shifted during the minting process, resulting in a doubling effect that can be clearly seen on the coin's details, especially on the inscriptions like Liberty, the date, or In God We Trust. In 1994, there are confirmed examples of Lincoln pennies with minor to moderate doubling, particularly on the obverse, and these have garnered substantial interest at auctions. Another point of focus is the presence of off-center strikes. A coin that has been struck off-center by even 10% to 50% or more can be worth significantly more than face value, depending on how dramatic the error is and whether the date is still visible. A 1994 penny struck off-center but still showing the full date and mint mark can easily fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on overall eye appeal and rarity. Then there are coins struck on the wrong planchet. These errors are among the most exciting and valuable. A 1994 penny that was accidentally struck on a dime planchet, for instance, will weigh less and may have incomplete design elements. These rare mistakes happen when the mint's machinery accidentally feeds the wrong type of blank into the press. Examples of 1994 pennies struck on foreign or wrong metal planchets have been authenticated and auctioned for significant sums. Mint mark anomalies also add intrigue. While the vast majority of 1994 pennies carry standard mint marks, collectors continue to search for variations like repunched mint marks, RPM, where the mint mark was stamped more than once in a slightly different position. These are subtle, but under magnification, the repunching is visible and adds to the collectability. Now let's talk about condition. Coin collectors know that condition is king, and this is where the Sheldon coin grading scale comes into play. This 70-point scale, developed by Dr. William Sheldon, helps determine a coin's state of preservation. A 1994 penny in average circulated condition may be worth a penny or two, but one in brilliant uncirculated, mint state condition, especially graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC, can be worth hundreds or more. In fact, as of the most recent sales, some pristine examples of the 1994 D Lincoln penny graded at MS68 red have sold for upwards of $4,000 to $6,000 at major auctions. Now we get to the heart of the matter. How does a penny like this reach values in the tens of millions? Recently, a story went viral claiming that a rare 1994 penny was valued at an astonishing $89 million. While this valuation has been widely debated and may reflect speculative or exaggerated figures, it highlights a growing trend: the increased global interest in rare coins as alternative investments. When a collector or investor sees a coin with an extremely rare era, provenance, or historical significance, the sky can be the limit in private sales. So, what kind of coin could conceivably command such an astronomical figure? Experts speculate that if a 1994 Lincoln penny were discovered with an extreme minting error, perhaps struck on an unlisted or experimental planchet, or showing a unique combination of doubled die and misstruck mint marks, then combined with perfect condition and an airtight chain of provenance, it could command record-breaking prices at auction. It's rare, but not entirely outside the realm of possibility. Stories like these often get picked up in mainstream media and online auctions, causing bidding wars and a frenzy of excitement among collectors. One coin's unique story, combined with social media buzz and demand from wealthy buyers, can lead to unprecedented value inflation. This is particularly true in the private sales world, where a wealthy buyer might be willing to pay an eye-watering sum to own a unique piece of American numismatic history. And that brings us to the modern coin market. Demand for rare coins has exploded in recent years. With economic uncertainty, inflation, and digital asset volatility, many investors have turned to tangible assets like coins, bullion, and collectibles as a hedge. Graded coins with certified rarity are performing strongly at auction, with some breaking seven-figure sales. The allure of finding that one-in-a-billion coin continues to drive treasure hunters, metal detectorists, and everyday people to check their change for overlooked gems. So next time you see a penny on the ground, or dig through a jar of spare change, take a moment to look at the date and mint mark. That 1994 penny in your hand might not be ordinary. Check for errors. Look for doubling, off-center strikes, odd weight or size, or repunched mint marks. Even a minor error can increase the value substantially. And if you believe you've found something truly unusual, get it authenticated by a professional third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC. Because you never know, maybe, just maybe, you're holding a coin worth not 1 cent, but $89 million. Back to the channel where we uncover some of the most surprising stories in the world of coin collecting. Today, we're diving into a coin that has stirred up a lot of buzz in recent years: the 2002 Lincoln penny with the mysterious mint mark, sometimes referred to as the linkcoin penny. Whether you're a seasoned collector, someone who inherited an old jar of coins, or just someone curious about that rumor of a penny being worth $67 million, yes, you heard that right, then sit tight, because this one is going to be a deep, fascinating dive into coin history, value speculation, market trends, minting errors, and what you really need to look for in your own pocket change. Let's start from the beginning. The Lincoln cent has been around for over a century. First introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person on its face. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent has gone through a number of design changes, composition updates, and minting anomalies that have turned some otherwise ordinary coins into treasure troves for collectors. Fast forward to the year 2002, this year is not widely known for any radical changes in U.S. coinage, but a few specific errors and oddities have become the stuff of legend. Now, let's talk about this 2002 penny in the linkcoin reference. In some circles, especially online forums and speculative listings, the term linkcoin has popped up in association with error pennies or counterfeit markings where the word Lincoln on the obverse appears distorted, doubled, or partially struck in a way that makes it look like linkcoin. In many cases, this is the result of die deterioration, a misstrike, or a worn die that caused letters to blend oddly. Some people have mistaken this for a rare mint mark or variant. But here's where it gets wild. In a few cases, listings have appeared online claiming these coins are worth tens of thousands, even up to $67 million. That's right, $67 million for a penny. At first glance, that sounds impossible, and honestly, in almost all realistic collecting scenarios, it is. No legitimate 2002 penny has ever sold for anything close to that. However, when you dig into these listings, it becomes clear that sometimes the value isn't based on verified auctions or expert grading, but on speculation, internet hype, and wishful thinking. But that doesn't mean there's nothing to the story. In fact, there are real instances of error pennies from various years being worth thousands of dollars, depending on the rarity, condition, and type of error. Let's take a closer look at what makes a coin valuable. First and foremost, it comes down to rarity. A coin with a known minting error that happened in very limited numbers is going to command a much higher price than a common coin. Double die obverse, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and wrong metal errors can all significantly increase a coin's value. For example, a 1955 double-die penny can sell for up to $20,000 in high-grade condition. Similarly, a 1943 copper penny, accidentally struck on a leftover bronze planchet instead of the intended steel, once sold for over $1 million. But here's the difference. Those coins have documented provenance. They've been authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, and their history is traceable through auction houses. With the so-called linkcoin, 2002 penny, we're in murkier waters. It's important to know that in 2002, the U.S. Mint produced over 3.3 billion Lincoln cents. That's billion with a B. Most of these were minted in either Philadelphia or Denver, and the mint mark, P or D, would appear just below the date. There were no officially recognized mint mark anomalies labeled linkcoin. So if you're seeing a penny from 2002 with distorted text, odd mint marks, or strange features, chances are you're dealing with a mint error, and possibly one of the many varieties that haven't yet been fully cataloged. Now, let's talk about the real potential value of such coins. Suppose you have a 2002 penny with a significant visible minting error. For example, a double die reverse, a rotated die error, or a dramatic off-center strike, and it's in uncirculated condition. That penny could potentially fetch $50 to $500, maybe more if the error is extremely unusual and desirable to collectors. However, this depends heavily on professional authentication. A coin that's graded by PCGS or NGC as MS65 or higher and features a certified error has the best chance of being worth real money. There have been documented sales of certain 2002 error pennies selling in the $100 to $200 range, especially those with strong doubling or off-metal strikes. But those $67 million price tags you might see online? Those are either typos, trolling, or people fishing for attention. Still, they draw eyes, and that's part of the fascination with coins. Even the tiniest difference can spark a hunt, a mystery, a dream that maybe you're holding on to something rare. So what should you do if you find a 2002 penny with something strange about it? First, don't clean it. Never clean a coin you think might be valuable, it reduces the value. Next, take a close look under magnification. Look at the date, the mint mark, the word Liberty, and In God We Trust. Look at the edges, the rim, and the back side, known as the reverse, for any signs of doubling, missing details, or odd shapes. Take clear, well-lit photos. Then, compare what you see with resources online, sites like error-ref.com, the PCGS Coin Facts database, or Lincoln Cent forums. If you still think your coin might be valuable, consider submitting it for grading. Yes, this can cost a bit of money, usually between $30 to $100 depending on the grading service and type of coin, but it can be worth it if your coin turns out to be rare. And even if it's not, you'll have peace of mind and maybe a cool story. Another thing to remember is that the coin market is just like any other collectibles market. Values rise and fall depending on demand, interest, and broader economic factors. A coin that's not worth much today could spike in value tomorrow if a new variety is discovered or if a sudden surge of collector interest boosts demand. So keep watching those online marketplaces, collector groups, and auction results. Even a common penny can become a gem in the right circumstances. And finally, don't let dollar signs blind you to the joy of the hobby. The truth is, coin collecting is about history, craftsmanship, mystery, and the thrill of discovery. Every coin in your pocket has a story, from the hands it passed through, to the time it was minted, to the tiny imperfections that make it unique. So whether your 2002 penny is worth 1 cent, $100, or just one cool conversation with a fellow collector, it's worth taking the time to explore it.so. To wrap it up, the 2002 linkcoin penny might not be a $67 million windfall, but it's a fascinating example of how modern myths, real errors, and collector enthusiasm collide. Keep checking your change, stay curious, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next person to uncover a genuine numismatic treasure hiding in plain sight. Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive. If you found this video interesting, informative, or just a little bit fun, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more videos on rare coins, US currency history, and all the hidden stories in your spare change. Until next time, keep collecting, keep searching, and never underestimate the power of a penny.